of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling And I never been down with no OPP. I talk about selling our people's property. Don't know who doing it, so don't round me out. Don't send no police round me and tell me shush my mouth. Where's our conviction? But where's our pride? We selling everything, selling our backside. Just go online, it'll make you sick. You can buy any island, just point and click. See, they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling Hey, hey. Ride him. My mother always say, when you find a donkey, ride it. Who's donkey? What? Come on. We got a whole nation in 73. Now we getting back the whole country. What kind of fools we must be, selling out for a bag of rice and a cup of tea. You know what does bug me? Help me understand. I can't find piece of property for under 80 grand, but I can fix this. I know what to do. I can squat just like them other people try make me do. See, they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling They're selling our country. They're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling I get everybody sells some every day. They're selling one island, they won't keep. What can be left for you and me? Is this the example? What's our kids to do? You want them have a sense of pride, or go selling too? Cause they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling They're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling They're selling our country, yes man. They're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling They're selling our country, yes, yes. They're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling
gang leader wanted for a heist, and at the center of it all, the officer in charge of the Criminal Investigation Department. Good evening, everyone. I'm Janae Noel. Thanks so much for joining us. Chief Superintendent Michael Johnson has agreed to be placed on administrative leave as investigations proceeding into several voice notes that flooded social media today, the contents of which have caused an uproar online and also within the ranks of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. It's alleged that several individuals were negotiating a deal for the accused persons to be cleared of those charges. Well, the Commissioner of Police, Clayton Fernandez, addressing the matter today through a press release. He sought to assure the public that the Royal Bahamas Police Force takes these allegations very seriously and said, quote, "We are committed to maintaining the highest standards of integrity and professionalism within the ranks." Our Linton Ritchie Jr. joining me live in studio tonight with the latest on this. Linton?
That's right. Good evening, Janea. 5 voice notes circulated in media last night has put the integrity of the Royal Bahamas Police Force under a microscope, as it is alleged that Chief Superintendent Michael Johnson was reportedly discussing a deal with a man known to police and a lawyer to have the accused cleared of the charges that police would have put him before the courts for. The voice notes began with the purported voice of Johnson suggesting to the accused that they should meet in person.
And listen to what I saying. Why don't they, let's talk, man. Let's talk. Real talk.
That's what they doing now. That's what I saying. What you saying?
Boy, I talk to him and talk. Just talking, but just saying talk.
You gotta say something.
Yeah, but I can't. Listen. I can't say what I want to say on the board, but I can't say what I want to say.
Alleged corruption within the Royal Bahamas Police Force following the leak of a series of voice notes allegedly involving a high-ranking police officer, purported gang leader now deceased, Michael Fox Jr., and a lawyer. It is purported that all parties involved wanted to meet in person to discuss a payout to have those wanted for an alleged heist that took place in November 2023 cleared. The alleged lawyer explaining the price that will have to be paid.
You can sit down for 5 days. You're straight. They wouldn't even send you to court.
What they saying? They bill is.
I being real with you now. He tell me he want one.
Yeah.
He want one.
The accused ensuring with the alleged lawyer that the $100,000 that the high-ranking officer is charging him will grant him full immunity.
So what's just but them why would they get posts up? They need to start taking them down. At least I can talk to them anyhow. With them wanted posts in there. With the wanted post up.
Yeah, but they ain't gonna officially do it till you step in. That's the real. So they saying. So what I'm saying is you want everything covered, you and him. That's what you're talking about.
Man, that's supposed to cover me and them.
The alleged lawyer confirms.
So when he's saying now?
He said, that'll be straight every day. You know what I mean? That'll be over. Everything will be mash.
However, those involved expressed the urgency of having the deal sealed.
So this is a good time to deal now, because your boy off the island, the commissioner. And so, come in, say he fly out today. He just saying that just to make music, niggas can't put no pressure on him. He's basically in charge of the operation.
In the final leaked voice message, it is alleged that the now deceased Fox confirms the deal with the high-ranking officer.
Everything's smooth. What I can do, go round up, you see?
All right, then.
Yeah.
Before the voice notes were leaked, it is purported that the alleged gang leader, now deceased Michael Fox Jr., made references throughout the conversation about 2 wanted flyers with him and another man. Since then, both him and the other male 28-year-old Dino Smith has been killed. Dino Smith met his demise on Prince Charles Drive at a stoplight where him and another female were ambushed by gunmen when they were killed in their vehicle. Michael Fox Jr. meeting his demise less than 4 months later as he was ambushed by gunmen where they riddled his car, his black Acura, with bullets. Now, Janea, this is a story we are continuing to follow. I'm Linton Ritchie Jr. sending it back to you at the desk.
The story continuing to take an unlikely twist. Eyewitness News understands that the security company in question, where those funds were stolen from during the heist, belongs to a former police officer who reportedly told sources close to the matter that his company experienced significant loss and reputational damage, adding that they were also told that police were allegedly involved in planning that attack. Again, as we said, it's a story we are continuing to follow.
There we go. How are we now? How are we now? Okay, yeah, sounds like we're good now. So thank you so much for all of my producers, my studio producers from all around the world. Um, I think the sound is on now. Um, my computer has a special feature on it so that it blocks them from hacking into my computer and having audio, being able to hear my audio. So thank you for joining us. It's always a pleasure to spend my Sunday evenings with you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you coming here to learn what's going on in our country and to be a part of informing the rest of the nation. Your job as you come here is to get the information and to distribute it to the rest of the Bahamas. We're going to have some serious conversations today. We're going to talk about those things you saw them place on the title for this live, and that is the Olympic team, the murder of the person they said was suspected of the armor truck, and also NIB. We have some documents we want to show you on NIB. NIB has been robbed, and so we need to discuss that. Not robbed with violence, but the white collar kind of rob. All right, so we're gonna get on that today. But thank you so much for joining. You know what to do when you get on here. They are blocking all of my lives. So it's not going to be shared. So your job when you get on here is to do your at followers, at highlight. Also, you can tag persons in here, tell them to get in here, and you can share this in your WhatsApp groups and in whatever groups you have to make sure that people know exactly what is going on. So thank you so much for being a part of this. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. So first, I want to before we get to what I showed you earlier, I want to talk about. I want to update you on Eleuthera, and I want to talk about this Olympic thing for a second. All right, and then we're going to talk about these young men who are being murdered and what's really going on in the Bahamas. We need to know what's going on with Michael Johnson. We're not going to let the police force get rid of this. We have some stuff to talk to you about with this. We know what's going on with Michael Johnson. We need to know if he is really in North Carolina. He has family members in North Carolina. We need to know if that's where he is. And if that's so, why haven't they questioned him yet? What kind of investigation is this that they didn't question the man yet? But we'll get to that. We need to know where Bajon Ferguson is. Bajon Ferguson, we need to know where he is. He should have been wearing an ankle bracelet wherever he is, in my opinion. So let's get to it. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to open it up for calls probably around 9 o'clock. But first, we're going to have some conversations, all right? And you will be able to call us from WhatsApp today, all right? So you can call us from WhatsApp today because we're using one of the phones that we normally use for the camera. And but you'll be able to call us from WhatsApp today. All right. Now, we are broadcasting live from everywhere, from all the social media platforms. And so if you want to, they still have the old phone numbers on there. Ignore that. If you want to, you can watch this on YouTube on the TV. So that's why we have these here, because sometimes they delete or they hide your comments. So after the show, the comments sometimes they disappear, but that's why we put your comments here so that they can't silence you. And if you watch it if you turn your device sideways or watch it on YouTube, like you're seeing in the back of me, you'll be able to see the comments clearly. All right, you can watch it on your TV or you can watch it on Facebook, but you can turn it sideways if you want to see it good, and you'll be able to see the comments from all of our different social media platforms at once. All right, so to the 1,522 people on here with us, let's go. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have been watching the Olympic representation, and it's almost like we've been cursed. I am so proud of my Bahamian people who would put in the work to make sure that our country is represented. I am so proud of you. for your efforts in making sure that the Bahamas is out there, for the work that you've put in. I'm extremely proud of you. And but in terms of our government and their preparation, their inclusion, etc., I'm shocked. First, I will start with the fact that they're not broadcasting the Olympics on ZNS. Now I can understand why. They sent a team of 20 persons. I feel with a country that is so talented, there is no way that you can explain to me why we are only sending 20 persons to the Olympics. It makes no sense to me. All right. It's a very talented country, and it means that we have fallen down. So we'll get to that. In terms of the coverage, it costs $800,000. That's nothing for this country, especially a country where the members of parliament are traveling the world and partying and balling, eating caviar and steak and sending back the pictures. I'll never forget those first pictures that Fred Mitchell and them sent back with the steak and caviar right there. And we saw the $2,000-3,000 caviar, as much as we assume that particular brand of caviar costs. Other trips where they were carrying, Laura the Fruit Lady and other persons with them on these trips. It was, $1.5 million on one trip. And that's just what they accounted. So, it costs way more than that. And, you could spend our money on a Bermuda trip where you spent our Bahamian people's treasury money for a PLP trip. So imagine how much other trips they did where they just stole the money from the treasury. But when it comes to things that the people need, you can't give us what we need. This is what angers a lot of the Bahamian people, and they just don't get it. They feel like you should be. They have the stance or position that we should just appreciate the fact that they are balling and spending money and they get to party and live their best lives. Like we should just want that. And so I still don't know that money has been paid back. They got caught, and so they said they would pay it back. But let me tell you something. If you go and rob a bank and then you get caught and you say, okay, I'll give the money back, you still lock up. That's not a civil matter. They literally robbed the treasury to pay for a PLP trip. Let's stay on point. So $800,000 to cover the Olympics is nothing. You collect money from sponsors, and when we did our calculations, if you charge $800 to $1,000 for a commercial, people spend way more than that for commercial, ads in the newspaper, etc. But if you charge $800 to $1,000, this is a big event. Everyone would be watching. You would only need, about 2 commercials an hour, and the maximum of 4 commercials, literally 30-second commercials per hour, to break even. All right, to break even. And so everything you make over that is gravy. And so it makes no commercial or business sense. So 1, that doesn't make sense. 2, you send 20 people. This means that our Ministry of Youth, Sports, and Culture is falling down. But I want to show you where this starts from. All right. Someone says $200,000 in a new car. I agree. And don't forget, $2.5 million to renovate a plane, to refurbish a plane. I want to look at what happened with our Olympic team, and it looked like it crashed. I believe in God. I don't believe in theocracies, but I believe in God. And do you all remember, because there's so much skullduggery going on, every week we have a new scandal that we forget a lot of them. Do you all remember when they took remember the International Athletic Relays that they had, the World Athletic Relays? At that major event, which is a qualifying event for the Olympics, Do you remember that they did this skullduggery, this trick, where not only did they fuse the Bahamian flag with the flag of Haiti, but they fused the name Haitian Bahamian All Stars, a relay team. They desecrated our sovereignty at the uh, World Relays that was in the Bahamas. Do you remember them doing that? They desecrated our sovereignty. I don't care if that was the American Bahamian. I don't care if that was the Chinese Bahamian. It should not have happened. They desecrated our sovereignty. It was a trick they did to insult us. And now look what is happening with the Olympic team. Some people may say that's extreme, but I want you to pay attention to it. Since then, the whole Olympic team was falling apart. They have selection problems where there was controversy about who they selected to go in this Olympics. The young lady who helped to get us there, they didn't allow her to run. The 16-year-old young lady who helped to get us there. How is it that we are at the world's #1 stage? More people watch that than watch the Super Bowl. The world's #1 stage. Shawnee Miller-Weebo is not there. And of course, our other athletes, special athletes were not there. We see that now in the 400 meters. We're not going to be presented by our men. I was watching the Olympics with foreigners from around the world. And the Bahamas was not properly represented in this Olympics. And we always are. The Bahamas is always at the forefront. And the big question is, where's the Bahamas? Where's the Bahamas? We are conspicuously not there. This New Day administration has failed us as it relates to this Olympics. They've failed. I can't say that any better or any worse. Stephen Gardner is now not running. Stephen Gardner was not there for the mixed 4 by 400 meter relay. We don't know what's going on with him. We'll find out more. But it's almost like everything fell apart since the desecration of abomination. Since they allowed a team to go there and say that they were the Haiti Bahamian team. I have nothing against Haitians. I have nothing against Bahamians. But a nation is sovereign, and that should not have happened. But the whole country is falling apart. Now, I want to take this to the next level. I want to quickly talk about Eleuthera, and then we're going to talk about the young man who was murdered and what's really going on with that. Then I'm going to quickly show you some documents from NIB, which shows that NIB is being robbed, has been robbed, and you're being robbed to pay for their skullduggery. You have the proof. And so, all right, let's talk about Eleuthera. Jesus, where do we start? I just want to give you a quick update on what's happening in Eleuthera. First of all, we went down to Eleuthera just to head a cry to the people to see what's going on, to investigate and see what's happening. And it was, oh my God. Oh my God. To have Bahamians living like that is tragic. It's tragic. This is the 21st century, and we're going back to toting water. We're going back to no electricity, but I won't elaborate on that. We've been talking about that. And so I'm told that the road works have been suspended. And so we need that to be confirmed. I'm told that the road works have been suspended, that $160 million road works. I'm told that it's stalled. It's like the government is falling apart. So we need an update on that because the work is not happening right now and it's stalled. And we told it's stalled because they want to bring in prisoners to work. And there's objection to that. They want to bring in prisoners to work so they could save money. So they said if they can't bring in the prisoners to work, because consultation should have been done and it wasn't done with the public, so it's not going to be technically legal to do it. But they said if they can't bring in prisoners to work, they have to be allowed to bring in foreigners to work on the project. Foreigners to work on the project. Jesus. Foreigners to work on the project. Okay. Why do you need foreigners to work on that project? First and foremost, the project is billed at $160 million. $160 million. So that's roughly $1.5 million per mile. You're already overcharging us. Why do you need to bring in foreigners? I think every Bahamian should be highly paid on that project. Overly paid, since you were allowed to do that. $1.5 million per mile is utterly ridiculous. That's shameful. But they're robbing us in every way. They don't even care if, even if they lose, they're going to make so much money that once the F&M comes in and they know nothing's going to happen to them, they scot-free. And so that's why they're doing what they're doing. And so if you're going to have a contract, Bahamian should be used on every contract where the taxpayer money is involved. And so to talk about bringing in foreigners, that's just as bad as bringing in prisoners. That's a problem, especially when you overcharge us in the first place. Now, there's a problem where a lot of people feel that the road isn't as urgent as the water and electricity problem. That's the fault of the government. And so you could spend $160 million on a road. That's how some people feel. But there's a water problem. Now, I can show you something with that water problem. But first, I want to show you the road. All right. So let me show you one of the problems with the road. So the video I'm about to show you, what happened in Luther was someone got a contract some time ago for $2.5 million, I'm told. And what they did was to stretch it out. They lowballed the government. And so to stretch it out, they did a patch of road every so often in every section so that you couldn't sue them because at least they did a road, some road here, some road there, and some road there. And of course, they got away with it because we guess it was some kind of political Cooney that got the contract. I won't call any names now. It's not important to this point. So I wanted to show you how the road in Luther, it'll be good. It'll be, you see the dark road and the light road, which means it's the older road, and the dark and the light. All right. So let me show you something. Watch this. You see how it went from dark to light? Let me do that for you again. So see one color road now. It's changed and everything. What goes back? Great. And so they put patches of road in different places. They put patches of road. Okay. And so this is basically the road in a Lutheran. As you can see, that's not emergency. That's not a serious emergency where we choose to spend $160 million for that. All right. So the problem is the patches of road that they did, but even the part that is white, it's not like it's white road and there's a bunch of potholes, and there's some work needs to be done, but not to spend $160 million. That's clearly a robbery of the treasury, in my opinion. And so here's the road that they are working on. This is the road that they're working on now. This is the work that they're doing. Where is it? Okay, this is more like Luther.
Well, this piece good. They even got a speed bump with marking on it.
Right, so this is more of the trickery they are doing.
I don't want to be somewhere.
I have a serious problem with the price tag because they're not doing any major like when you saw Harold Road was being done back in the day, you saw that they did major work on that, even though they didn't have anywhere for a person to pull on the side. It was ridiculous. But you can see when they did the airport road, they elevated the road and they get it a slant so that the water would run off, and they put a median, and they did a lot of work to that. It was real engineering. But just paving the road, just putting tar on dirt is not how you do roads around the world. And that's one of the problems, because the minute the dirt underneath moves, then you get potholes. It should be proper construction that's being done. And I'm not seeing that, in my opinion. So tar on dirt is not road work, but that's what they're doing. They're just repaving over the road. And that's a problem. Yeah, they're scraping off the old tar and doing what they have to do, but that's not a proper engineering. So why are we spending all this money? So you're spending $160 million on that while people don't have water. And that makes sense to some people. Let me show you the water. Then I'm going to show you John Miller's and the horror they're having. But this right here is the water tank. This is the water tank, all right? And that's where you can see the water spouting out. Is extremely shameful. That's the water tank with all those holes in it that they're saying has some lining in it. If that had lining, the water couldn't get out. Look at the rusty water. Look at that. Spouting. Look at that. Look at that. This is one of the leaks. And wherever that water touches is rusting. Is the water rusting that water? Rusting this tank on the outside, I want you to look carefully. Where the water is running is what's being rusted. Think about that. All right? And so some is water and sewage for sale next. Yeah, so what they're doing, they're smart. They know they can't sell these facilities outright. So what they're doing is they are selling the money-making mechanisms in these facilities. All right? And so that's what they're doing. So they can't sell water and sewage, but they'll sell the water purifying part of it in distribution. And that's what they're doing. So now I want you to see John Miller's. I know we're talking about a lot today, but we got to.
The well filled with moss being pumped into this tank to be issued out to the people in John Miller's in Eleuthera. The most nastiest stuff.
And I see a frog, a dead frog in there, and I see, like you say, moss.
Yeah, they don't care about the
moss is in the walls of the well that they're using.
Yeah.
There is also claim,
full of
and
moss.
this is from multiple persons, that the water is giving off a foul odor, like there is some type of dead carcass or rat inside the water.
And when they put chlorine in it, she say it's too much chlorine. It goes and it affects the children's skin. Oh man, that's
some crazy stuff.
Wow.
Let's go.
To be a Bahamian in the Bahamas, it's ridiculous. And that's the water going to the people's house in that area. It was disgusting and vile. We did another video. It turns out they couldn't see that one good. But you have a water well with dead animals in it, full of moss. I mean, moss and algae. I mean, disgusting. The scent. And some of those people are still going to vote for the F&M PLP. Let me let you watch that one more time before we move on.
What?
The well filled with moss being pumped into this tank to be issued out to the people
In
John's Millers
in John Miller.
in Eleuthera. The most nastiest stuff.
And I see a frog, a dead frog in there, and I see, like you say, moss.
Yeah, they don't care
Moss
about the
is
name
in the,
people.
on the walls of the well that they're using.
Yeah.
There is also claim,
full of
and
moss.
this is from multiple persons, that the water is giving off a foul odor, like there's
Right.
some type of dead carcass or rat inside the water.
And when they put chlorine in it, she say it's too much chlorine. It goes and it affects the children's skin. Oh man, that's
Some crazy stuff.
John Miller. Wow.
Let's go.
How could you do this to human beings? Let me tell you the bad part. One, we are paying the politicians. So I hear someone say, oh, Clay Sweden did some stuff. He did it. You're paying him to do that handsomely. 6 figures in salaries. He's getting 2 salaries, plus he's getting perks, customs breaks, car, phone and guards and everything else. You're paying them to give you quality water. They fail. You're paying them, to give you quality electricity. They fail. Not only are you paying them to do this work and make sure you get it, you're paying for the water. You're paying your taxpayers' money so that you can get quality work. And then on top of that, you're paying for that bad water. That's acceptable to some people. How could it be? If you could let them screw you, your political party, because you love, if you could let them screw you, don't let them screw children, man. Because the children are getting skin. Long Island's having similar problem. Auckland's, Crooked Island, similar problems. The people in Crooked Island were told by Fred Mitchell to get their own reverse osmosis plant, like the one that, what's his name, Clay Sweeting has. The people of Crooked Island at the PLP's council meeting last month were told, get your own reverse osmosis like him.
And this is them from the road. And this is Clay Sweeting right here. This is why I have the problem. It's Clay Sweeting. That's his osmosis system he put so he didn't have to run water down here to me for the last 25, 30 years.
So he has his own reverse osmosis system. And y'all keep letting these politicians screw you. Philip Brave Davis, when he goes away, they say, oh, you have a daughter away, so he goes away to the... Okay, you were the Ministry of Works for all this time, you're in the cabinet for all this time. Why don't you build a hospital that your daughter could come and work in and be proud to come and work in, so that a Bahamian doesn't have to leave this country to go and get a proper employment? That's even more shameful that you were in the House of Assembly since 1987. You, Philip Brave Davis. You were there from 1987. But you have still failed to build a country where Bahamians can come back home to. So the brain drain, Philip Davis' children had to leave or chose to leave this country to go and get a better life somewhere else because we have failed to build a country for our own people. And then you feel good by saying that you went away to get your health care. Now, again, that's your choice to go where you want to go. But the problem is, if it's just a choice, that's okay. There is no choice. Bahamians are suffering with the healthcare in this country. We need a situation where we have healthcare working properly. If we choose to go somewhere else, then because our family's there and they could take care of us while we're recuperating or whatever, and that's fine. But right now, people are dying. I have some pictures and images of the hospital right now, but I don't want to change the subject. I'll do that for another live. With the situation there at the hospital, it's deplorable. All right, so I'll leave that there. Next, NIB, and then we're talking about the murders. All right, NIB. I just want to show you something very quickly. All right, I want to show you something, and I need all of us Bahamians to take this seriously because this is our life and our livelihood. So NIB provided me, with some documents. All right, there's a company on there. We're researching to see who is behind the company that got these contracts, but we'll get back to you with that. But I want to show you some documents from NIB. I flashed it to you the other day, but this is the reason NIB is broke. Me and Maria did a live where we showed the derelict mansions that they were buying with our money, still derelict. We showed the documents, how they were squandering our monies. It is, again, shameful and disgraceful that would be happening in the 21st century. It's shameful. And so I want to show you these documents. Oh, before I go on, someone sent this to me, and I really need you to see this. This is the water. This is the water in Eleuthera. This is the water in Eleuthera. That rust is dangerous and deadly. We did this ourselves while we're in Eleuthera. This is the water. On the right, with the white cap, is regular water. The red, dangerous, deadly cap is the water that they are giving to you, that you're paying for. If you go to a restaurant and they give you dirty food, they could be jailed, they could be closed down, etc. The government is being allowed to sell us dirty, filthy water. Okay? That's disgraceful. And they want us to celebrate them when they finally go and get this thing fixed after they've made us suffer for 3 years because they got their own water and they couldn't care less about our situation. Let me show you more of the water. This is the water. See that? That's water straight out the tap. That's the water in Eleuthera. Y'all see that? That is the water in Eleuthera. Jesus. That's what you're voting for. They can throw a party for y'all when election time comes. They can throw a big party and say, vote for us. Let us fail some more. That's the water. See that? That's the water. That ain't a sewage. That's the water out the tap. My Lord. Just wanted y'all to see that. So now to more disgrace, NIB. So I want to show you a document. I'll pull it up here. I started to touch on this with you. I hope you can see this clearly. No, I don't think you can see this clearly. Let me pull this down and then do it a different way because I want you all to see this. Good. I want you all to see this. Good. This document here, let me see if I can pull that up for you. That document there, Jesus. Make sure you're sitting down. All right. I had done a little sneak peek of this document before. But what I did was went and cross-referenced NIB's actual accounting to see if this showed up in the accounting, and I don't see it anywhere. So we are being robbed. All right, so give me 1 sec. Let me pull that up. Okay, here's the document. This document right here. All right. I started to redact it because a company name was on it. I didn't get it from the company at all, but I just wanted to redact it. But anyway, don't worry about that. Make sure you can see this good. All right, I'm going to make this big. Procurement. Okay, as you can see on the top of this document, let's look at the top. You can see this, the National Insurance Board. All right, is NIB, and they're writing to this person there, whoever. Procurement and installation of medical gas for Abaco and Exuma healthcare facilities located in Marsh Harbor, Abaco, and Georgetown, Exuma. Someone tell me something. What the hell does NIB have to do with the procurement and installation of medical gas for the Abaco and Exuma healthcare facilities located at Marsh Harbor, Abaco, and Georgetown, Exuma? Not only are they taking our monies to build clinic, they are taking money to furnish the clinics and buy the supplies. And gas is an ongoing thing. How the hell are they taking our NIB money to do this? The tax money should go towards this, not our pension money. This is why our pension is missing, and they are making us pay for this. And someone got a contract for this. And this isn't the public, this isn't the PHA, sorry, are doing this. You know, this NIB directly negotiating on this. Do you all see this? Do you all see this? So we refer to our correspondence date, whatever date, confirming our intent to engage Nassau Industrial Gases, that's the company, to procure and install the following list of equipment in both the Abaco and Exuma healthcare facilities at a total of $7,400 per facility. I want to thank the patriots at NIB who make sure that information gets out there because our country is in trouble. It says that oxygen gas, all right? So we pay in for NIB with our pension money, not the taxpayers' money, with our pension money. Better losing governors. You see here? 14 units, 500, 14 units, 700, 14 units, 800. So that's the deposit was 3,500. That's the deposit. Annual, just to rent the, I guess, the tank or whatever. All right. Then to refill, that's the price. Then is nitrous oxide tank. The deposit, one free, annual rental and refill. All right. So subsequent to the issue of the letter of intent, the company was mobilized to complete the procurement and installation of the above. I'm getting a call. I'm live. I got to turn off. This is a very important call. Give me 1 sec. So I'm investigating something serious with the government, and I was trying to get in contact with that person. And that has, I can't say what it's in reference to, but these murders are not coincidence. That's all I'm going to tell you. And I was trying to get in contact with that person, and they finally called me, and I happened to be on the live. Those murders are not coincidences. You hear me? Those murders are not coincidence. We can talk about the murder in a second. All right. I got a couple more minutes to talk about this, just to show you this, and then we're gonna talk about those murders, and then I'll open the phone lines. All right. So here. Okay, where was I? Right. Oh no. Where was I sharing? Okay, hold on. Oh, I was sharing this. Okay, let me stop sharing this out again. All right. It's going on in this country that of course, oh my God. Like I said, I'm running investigations, and all I want to tell all of you is that this country is in a serious situation. Those murders are not coincidences. You hear me? They're not. But hey, you just love your political party, so let them kill you. All right, so we're back to looking at this. And so they even got mobilization and all that for this, National Insurance Board. And so here's the signatures, Mr. Risa V. Burrows. And so there's a lot of documents like this. So this isn't the only one. I have a lot of documents like this. Yeah, I have several documents like this. I'm just going to show you this one for now, but I have a bunch of these. And so the next issue is, this was 2015. So I went and looked at the 2015, 2016 NIB reports to see if they reported anything like this. If they reported that they were actually themselves just going and buying that document 2015, right? So they were going and just buying supplies that had nothing to do with NIB. And so I went through their annual report, all right? So this 2015, as you can see, Shane Gibson was there. So, you know, ain't nothing getting right there. And all these other Bahamians, Zane Lightburn there, all these other who were there, all right? As the faces of it. And I tried to search and see where, anywhere where they gave any reporting that they were spending money directly. And so I looked at the assets, then I looked at the investments. And the investments totaled $1.5 million. And so I looked at the investments to see if there was anything, here's the documents, anything in the reporting to say, hey, we was taking your NIB money and buying oxygen and tanks and all this kind of stuff for the clinics and size for the clinics and all this kind of. I was looking to see anywhere where they reported spending that money. And I invite you to go and look. The report on NIB-Bahamas.com. And I was looking, see anywhere. I don't see anything. These are just investments here. I looked at the expenses, the liabilities. I didn't see anything in their accounting to say that they were taking our money, one, to buy, what you call them, to buy derelict mansions, rundown, condemned mansions with our money. I didn't see nothing about these expenditures, all right? So administrative expenditure, staff, salaries, allowances, expenses, members of the board, amortization, depression. I don't see anything where they spending money for clinics or spending money for supplies for clinics. All right, I don't see it. There's nothing in the accounting that they presented to the Bahamian people, and this is the accounting that I'm scrolling on the screen for you now. Nothing. For expenditure, this is the expenditure section. There's nothing about that on here. Nothing. On the expenditure, they have, of course, the things that they pay out: sickness benefit, unemployment benefit, maternity benefit, retirement benefit, all these other benefits, and then even down to debt benefit. But they don't have anything about them spending money like they're doing there. Nothing. And so either that is intentional fraud, or do that to take money out of NIB to funnel it to a party crony, and then let the party crony pay them off under the table, so you siphon money out. Like I said, I have a bunch of documents like that. I'll wait for their response to see what they have to say. But I wanted you to see this because that letter is from 2000. I have one here from 2015 and one from 2014. But see here, this letter here is 2000. You can see it says 2015 is when this is, right on there. June 23rd, 2015. Then when you look at their 2015 expenditure, nothing about that on there. Nothing. So I just so I just wanted to bring that to your attention. They robbing us. And that's the reason that your NIB is going up. Not anything to do with benefits. Because as you can see in that document that I was looking at, the benefits are less than the income. But they're raping and robbing your NIB, and you got to pay for it. And you will let your children suffer. By the end of this increase of 2.5% every year for 20 years, 25% of your salary is going to be going towards NIB. 25%. Your children just suffer if you don't stand up for change. Someone says they were paying $111 a month, now they're paying $130. Jesus. Someone says, who signed the document? Look at the document. Let me look at the document. Let me pull it up for you. This document is signed by Ms. V. Teresa Burrows, Senior Deputy Director, Administrative Building, et cetera, et cetera. All right, that's the document right there. You know, I don't talk on that documents. All right. And so we can sit down and let this happen, or we're going to fight for change. That's the last topic before I open the phone lines. Trying to investigate to see why our young men are dying and what's going on. Another young man has died as it relates to this, as it relates to these murders and what's going on with that. And I'm not going to go in detail tonight because, again, like I said, I'm running investigations. And so based on the call I just got, I should be able to have some solid information for you all in short. But the fact, like I said, that SIB is being allowed to investigate this is scandalous, because I told you who SIB is. SIB is under the thumb of the MPs. They're the ones that open the door and close the door and serve the members of parliament. So when you see the fellas in suit walking around with the prime minister, that's SIB. All right. And so they put them to investigate this. Come on, man. Come on. Who's in charge of NIB at that time? Shane D. Gibson was in charge of NIB at that time. All right. And so I'm reading the comments because people say I don't focus on the comments a lot. So I won't see all because it scrolls fast. But if I see something, I'll comment on it while I'm going. All right. And so SIB is running that. They try to make it seem like Scotland Yard was helping with the investigation. They are not. Stuff like the verification of the voice notes. Now, let me tell you something. Anytime a politician is involved with a scandal, they take long to want to touch it. Like remember Bradley Roberts when they said they accused him of sodomizing the lady. It was months and they didn't talk to him. They didn't even question him. The police didn't touch him. Months until it started to get out there and it started to look shameful. And they just call him in, had a conversation with him, let it go, let that there. You saw what happened recently with Kurt Cornish, where all this time had passed and they hadn't even questioned him, didn't want to touch him, and it was like hush hush. And when they talked about it, they didn't call the name of the person. Whether it was you and your child, they're gonna call the name, but they didn't call the name of the member of parliament. And so this is kind of stuff that really goes on anytime the politicians are involved. And so now you see that this situation is going on. The voice note. The voice note has allegedly Bajon Ferguson on it, and also allegedly Johnson, the head of CDU, on it. Bajon Ferguson is a puppet of the PLP. He does their bidding. This Bajon Ferguson approached Maria at the courts the other day, and we don't see where he was arrested yet. He assaulted her. We don't see where he was even questioned yet. We're told that he left the country, and no bolo was put out on him, no Interpol, etc., was put out on him, but he assaulted Maria at the courts. Bajon Ferguson, if you ever let the devil fool you again, to think that Maria is alone in this country, that you are a man and that you would approach a woman in that way, you are a coward. You are a coward. And I want people to think that I'm against him. Me and his brother were very close. His brother, Byron, died he was a pilot who died in a plane crash. And we worked closely together. So I'm not attacking Bajon. First time I went to Long Island Regatta, his brother called me as a pilot and said he has a plane and he wants me to come. Bring your girl and come. He was trying to set me up with a news reporter at the time. And he told me to just come. But in any event, that's the first time I went to Long Island Regatta that I could remember. When he wanted, he used to work with the Pilots Association, and I would let him use a building that I was renting at the time to have their meetings, and I would advise him whatever he needed. So I don't want you to think that I'm bashing Bajon. But when it affects the public, we have to deal with this seriously. So Bajon, don't come for Maria again. All right? Don't dare. Think about it. He's a puppet of the PLD, so whenever they want their dirty work done, like for example, me and Maria were fighting for Bay Della, and of course, Wayne Monroe sent Bajon to represent the criminals. And we fought and we won that case. All right? And a lot of times you'll see Bajon show up when the government, and sometimes he would show up to represent people, this is my opinion. Like there was a guy who did a, they said he and Philip Brave Davis. All right? We don't see any complaint from Philip Brave Davis. We don't see where he did not come to court to testify. So without the virtual complainant coming to court, they convicted the young man. The young man's lawyer was Bajon Ferguson. I wanted to tell the young man, when I saw John Ferguson representing him, that they're going to screw you, they sent him there to act like he's on your side. It's my opinion. Because in no way any lawyer could lose a case. You got to be the dumbest lawyer in the world to lose a case where the witness didn't show up. It's almost impossible to lose that case right there. Think about that. Think about that. All right. So I just want to say that I'm going to be running more investigations on this. And but the way it works is the big politicians organize the dirt, the corruption, and they get the smaller politicians to do the dirt. When the police force is involved, the prime minister, etc., they put the commissioner there, so he does their dirty work. But he don't do it himself. He's going to find some other senior police to actually do the dirty work. They operate like mafia. They're running this country like a mafia. So if you see the F&M gets in trouble because of corruption, it will always be some fall guy. All right, the mafia, they call it a stick man. A fall guy, that they have the smaller man that does the dirt. So during a talk to the prime minister, you could talk to someone that you know connected to the prime minister. And so if something ever happened, the prime minister say, well, I didn't. What you do? Oh, no, man, we gotta lock him up. No. Okay. Yeah, we gotta let the chips fall where they may. And that's how they operate. So that you can't directly tie it to the senior person. And so Michael Johnson was not acting on his own. All right. Whenever you see Lanisha Rule in these situations that came up in these other situations, they're not acting on their own. You understand? They're operating like mafia, so don't get tricked. There was another famous robbery where some fellas were killed afterwards. Philip Brave Davis' house was robbed. One police officer said this to me. So Lincoln, yes, yeah. Robbers stake out house first before they go and rob. They ain't just walk up, this is going there and rob. No, they stake out the house first, right, to see what's going on. Brave Davis has police escort, government cars, police cars, all that outside his house. You think little Staggerly's gonna just walk up in the house and stick them up? And then they call it a robbery. Then afterwards, these fellas get killed. Y'all think about that. This robbery with the armored truck, it's a lot more going on. Seen the first situation with the armored truck, you know. They're finding fall guys. I want to say to my Bahamian young men, it might seem sweet to be working with a politician, and they sweet y'all up every time, every election they sweet you up. Make you think that you straight, you could do dirt for them and you could be safe. And guess what? Y'all always end up dead or in jail. Wise up. The politician is going to use you for so long. After you've known too much, they're going to make sure that you are unalive. They're going to make sure that you are dead. To all my Bahamian brothers and sisters, it's time for you to be in a position where you don't have to do the dirt of the politicians. I keep telling you all this. I had a young man, his name was T-Ron Fowler. He came to me because he feel that he was betrayed by the PLP. He feel that he says that the officer he was arrested him, the U.S. officer that arrested him, was introduced to him by Perry Christie. T-Ron Fowler at Perry Christie's house. And he felt like, and he got a fake passport from the government because he feels that he was doing he was doing drugs, shipping or whatever for the politicians. And I can't say any specific politician, but for the politicians. And he got a fake passport. He could do what he had to do. And he was arrested with the fake passport. He did time and he came out. While he was in jail, he wrote a book. I have that book. And he wrote a book calling a lot of PLP politician names. And he was the one who first educated me about, and he came to me because he saw that I was out there. I was brave in being able to fight these politicians for the last 20 years, and I knew how to get things done. He wanted to know how I publish, how you publish a book and that kind of stuff, whatever. And so he told me that, you know, a lot of the crime you see going on is the politicians. He said none of these fellas doing this without the blessings of the politician. He said, I want you to know that. You understand? He said, you'll even see some fellas who get arrested and get let right back out, no matter what. He said, but you ain't gonna be in this game unless you're getting the blessings of the politicians. And he wrote a book that had a lot of allegations about a lot of politicians, including ones we respect. Some we respect and say, oh, this one is a fighter. Oh, this one good. Yeah, this one has helped the people. Male and female in that book. He talked about supplying cocaine for a female politician. He talked about their escapades with Peter Nygaard and the escapades with little girls and little boys, underage, I mean, not little. He put a lot of things in there. And I told him when I saw it, I told him, you're going to get killed for this book. You're holding on to this book, they're going to kill you if you don't release this book before they get to you. If you release it before, they're not going to be able to touch you because it's going to look bad. But if you have this book and you're talking to people, I said, young man, you're not going to live for very long. He wanted me to get someone to edit the book for me. He wasn't too good in English. There was a big fight over him in the cabinet. Big fight in him over cabinet. That's when Code Smith and Yada Gibson had his big fight in the cabinet because the young man worked at what do you call it, at the gaming board, and they even believe he had something to do with robbery. The robbery at the casino. It was a robbery at the casino, and they suspected him of having something to do with it, and he said he was doing what he was doing with the politician. Whoever did it got away. But he was working on behalf of the politicians. Wow, you see how this coming together? A truck robbery. Who's behind that? Yeah, the money is insured. So if you rob this armored truck of $1.5 million, not only do we get the $1.5 million back, the $1.5 million on the street, that 1.5 turns into $3 million, distributed. Did you all just hear what I just said? Let's do it again. $1.5 million armored truck robbery. The money insured. Now you turn that 1.5 into 3 million. You see? And they get certain people to do that dirty work. The casino was robbed. He had something to do with a fight in the cabinet over him. In the cabinet. See? The skullduggery. The treasury was robbed when I was a police officer when I just joined the police force. And we went there running. We heard over the radio set robbery in progress at the treasury. A senior police officer was there and he stopped us. He said, "You're not happening here, man. I stand in here. Y'all go that way." A senior police officer. superintendent or chief superintendent at the time. And he said, no, you're not nothing here. Yo, go that way, go that way. It was being raw. We could hear. He said, but boss, we heard it on the radio set. He said, I said, go that way. Get lost. I experienced this, me. He was a well-known progressive party police officer. He sent us out of the way. The politicians are the problem. So this is where's T-Ron Fowler today. T-Ron Fowler is dead. Sorry about that. They found him. There's a Hannah Road, an area by where Martin lives. So it's Hannah Road, right by where Glennis Hannah Martin lives. They found him on that. It's nothing to do with Glennis, sorry. They found him on that road in his car, shot, and they burnt up the car. All right. Yeah, I got a book. Now, I don't release things. I don't release things that I don't have evidence of. So his word in a book isn't enough evidence for me. But I've read the entire book, and it causes me to know where to look for certain things and who connected to who and who doing what. And that helps me with when I'm doing investigations, including this one. All right. He said, do you remember there was a fun story about him being in Perry Christie's house? Yes. I actually, when he met with me to get advice on the book, I dropped him off at Perry Christie's house. All right. Twice I met with him. And 2 times I personally, Lincoln Bean, dropped him at Perry Christie's house. 1 time he went into Perry Christie's house. The next time he went to the neighbor, Bernadette Christie's sister, who lives next door. It's the same compound. I dropped him there. All right. So the punch was saying that he opens the door in his underwear and all that. I can't say that I saw that. That's the punch story. But I know that I dropped him there. All right. The 2 occasions he wanted advice. I had turned him over to Patty Roker to edit. I took him to Island FM. Patty Roker was there. I took him to Island FM. Patty Roker saw a page, probably the first chapter. I don't know if she saw any scandalous stuff, but Patty Roker saw just to get an idea of the book. And another he was dealing with who used to put articles in the paper. That guy had the whole book, and he's dead. So I don't know how he died or anything, but he's dead. All right. But Patty Roker didn't see the whole book. I remember her only she probably saw a few pages. I don't know. All right. So this is how it works in this country. All right. And so our young men are being used by corrupt politicians. Let me open the phone lines so you can get your piece in there. So we've talked about a lot today. We talked about the Olympic team. We talked about Luther. We talked about murder, this stuff here. And we talked about NIB. You can call and talk about those things or anything you want to talk about. Every single week, I open up the question by you, the Bahamian people. Every single week, I open myself to be questioned by you. And so any question, anything that you have on me, or I mean, I'm not in office, I'm not in government, so people focusing on me kind of tickles me. But anything that I put out there that you don't believe or you don't understand, if you want to know more about our vision, our solutions, etc., we put ourselves out there like no other leader does every single week, so you could ask us questions. I heard there was a live recently where someone was they got a new story now with me and Haiti and some other foolishness, and no one asked them to bring proof. But listen, when people come with their stories, tell them what's up, man. All right, don't unless people come with stories. All right, but in any event, I put myself out here every single week to answer your questions and to let you have a voice. And so the number is 803-5995. You can call by regular call. We got half hour more. You can call by regular call or you can call by WhatsApp. All right, let me make sure my volume is up so you can get yourself in there. All right, 803-5995. 803-5995 is the number. Make sure we got volume on all of these devices. 803. Oops, sorry about that. But in any event. All right, 803-5995 is the number. You can call in. Okay, phone ringing already. Let's go. Good evening, you're live. Say again?
I'm calling from Marco City.
Okay, Marco City, welcome.
Yeah, thanks. I just have a few comments about the Olympics.
Yes.
I think because it wasn't broadcast in the Bahamas and they didn't have their fan base to support them, that caused them not to do as well as they should have done.
Yeah.
That's what I honestly believe.
Wow.
I think also it had something to do with the selection process of the athletes.
Yeah.
And one question I have for you, what I need you to check out for me, please.
Yes.
How come they changed the national athletes uniform to a fluorescent green instead of aquamarine, gold, and black? They changed that for a while now, and I'm trying to figure out why they changed our flag colors in the national uniform, sports uniform.
I think they're trying to dismantle everything about our culture. They don't even fly our flag by Parliament anymore, and a lot of our government buildings don't have it. But it's like they're trying to dismantle us, and I think that's disgraceful. And I think the uniform should be changed back immediately. On the first thing you commented about having that moral support. In psychology, doing business in university, I had to study psychology as a part of it. And in psychology, sports teams have cheerleaders, and people think that cheerleaders are entertainment. No, psychologically, when you have people who are with you and support you, it causes you to do better. When you have that moral support.
And they know we would see that we were searching all over the place, and they just put a roster out, must be 2 days after the
ridiculous. And that's why.
But anyway.
Yes, that's why the home team normally wins, because you have 10,000, 16,000 people cheering you on in a basketball match, and every time you hit a shot, they cheer. When you miss a shot, they ignore it. All right? And so that moral support in psychology causes you to do better. And so I think it's a failure on the part of our government that we didn't have the moral support for our people. They did not know that the whole country was watching them and depending on them to make this happen and supporting them. And that's a failure.
Yes, because you know when we win one goal, we win the whole Olympics.
Exactly, because of our per capita.
Yes.
Thank you for your call.
Yes, thank you too, Lincoln.
All right. 803-5995 is the number. 803-5995. You can call regular call or WhatsApp call, and you'll be able to get in on this conversation. That's them talking about the lady was talking about the Olympics, and I agree with her wholeheartedly on this. Hold on. Yeah, I agree with her wholeheartedly on this. It's shameful the level that we've come to in the Olympics. I think that the worst minister of youth sports ever was a tie between Lanisha Roll and Michael Pintard, but this was a big fail. Good afternoon, you're live.
Good afternoon. I would like to make a comment and ask a question concerning the Olympic situation.
Yes.
As the team. I'm wondering, like people are saying that Shanae and Steve did not show up at the beginning in the qualifying races. And the comment was made by people familiar with this that they would not, your premier athletes would not run at that stage. And so begs the question, in other words, the people who usually do the qualifying race, they are capable, but they wouldn't necessarily be the ones to do the whole 9 yards in the final race. And so I wonder if we're not putting too much of athletes and their parents, push them to go to the higher heights. And we just sit there as a country, we don't do anything to say use them to build a bigger pain. We're a small country, yes, but we could build, support these athletes more, so we're not depending on one person every time to run every race every hour. That's physically impossible for them to run in the qualifying, then run in the semi-finals, then run in the finals, then run their own race.
Yeah. So, like I said, we have a lot of work to do as it relates to our youth and sports program. If there's any better return on investment on any investment that we do than sports, because it's advertisement.
Right.
Athletes are paid, like Michael Jordan, etc., millions of dollars just to wear a shoe with a logo on it or a jersey with a logo on it. You're wearing the logo of an entire nation, and so that's advertisement. When our athletes come across and finish the whole world, think about us. It puts us in their psyche. And so that's a major failure on the part of the Minister of Tourism. Should be there making sure that our athletes are represented and properly funded, etc., to represent us. That's free advertisement. That's a failure on our tourism part and on youth sports and culture. All right. So I just want to make that clear.
Yes, I think basically, like you said, they should be promoting it, but just building the sports. Lots of young people are interested in sports. That's what fires them up. That's where that's their passion. We should be investing more in them. And I think it's like that's just left to the individual to go and push themselves, and that's it. And we just benefit from it. Passive.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking my call.
All right. Thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
I have people are interested in this this book. Let me just show you something. Again, everyone knows my reputation. I don't talk without having evidence. I want you to see something. Let me see. Give me one sec. Where is that? Oh. This was the first draft of the book. And so I'm doing this because I want you to understand, and we continue to talk about Olympics, but I want you to understand the seriousness of what's happening in this country has nothing to do with more saturation patrols and come on, man. I mean, that's shameful that's the only solutions they could come up with. So this is the book. He called it 1107. I think that's because of when he was arrested. And 1107, Cinema Affliction. So this is a picture that he had drawn, or he drew, with certain persons in the Bahamas. You can see one of these characters is Perry Christie, and he has politicians look like they're on this side on the scale, being held up by the balance, by justice. All right, he said by Ron Fowler, Blind Justice, I guess is the name he was working on, 1107. And what he wrote here, let me read this for you. It's him speaking from the grave. Dear sir, madam, because he was trying to find someone to help him publish his book. He's talking to me. I'm in search of a book and a publisher that others are trying to emulate, but one that is daring and not afraid to publish the truth. The Bahamas is known as a tourist nation. Millions of people from all different walks of life visit to experience its culture, the warmth embraced by its people, sun, and sea, the ugly politics that is being played with beneath the surface with the natives' lives killing us quietly. This criminal fellow writing this, a government that's full with thugs that use their ministries as cash cows. So, Let me answer this call and I'll get back to this. Good afternoon, you're live. Yes.
I want to ask a question about the banking system, the SWIFT banking system, and the BRICS.
Yes.
I was wondering if we change government, would we be able to change from SWIFT to BRICS, or would you stay with the SWIFT system?
We will use whatever system is available. I don't see a reason for us to use one or the other because I believe that China, Russia, and those other countries are still going to be using both. I don't see them cutting off SWIFT totally. Maybe they may try to, but they still want to be able to do business with those other people, but give an option, and that option is going to take some of the power away from that SWIFT system. All right. So there's a lot to talk about in relations to how that would work. I remember a lot of those countries they trade with the US. So destroying the US dollar could actually also hurt them. I want you to understand this. I'm a person who's done business all around the world, including in China. And so China wants America to be able to buy products from them. All right. And China, for a long time, remember George Bush used to say it all the time, they were intentionally keeping their dollar value low. Do you see how low the Japanese yen is? Yet they're the second economy in the world. So it's nothing to do with the dollar value. People focus on dollar value all the time, but that's not as important as people think. They sort of so remember, the Canadian dollar is worth less than the Bahamian dollar, but that doesn't mean that our country is doing better than theirs. Our dollar is worth more than China's, but we borrow from China. All right. So Japan keeps their dollar low. So anyone who knows about trading and trading forex, etc., which of course I've helped to get a lot of Bahamians certified in that. They know that Japan's dollar automatically goes up, their yen automatically goes up every time of year when people need more of it to buy electronics when Christmas is coming. So they actually do what they can to put their yen back down. They want it that way because it's an advantage. All right. So I don't think that the BRICS nations are going to destroy the US dollar because they still want a good customer to be able to buy from them, and they want their dollar lower so that there will be an incentive for Europe and the US to buy from them. All right.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
The reason why I asked that is because a lot of countries are getting sanctioned by the US, and that's why I kind of asked that. If we ever decide or move over to BRICS, we might get sanctioned as well.
Well, again, it's not moving over to BRICS, but it's using what's available out there. And so you use whatever mechanisms are available out there. And so the BRICS is going to put a certain system in place that you could use if you want to. So you can use the SWIFT system or you can use other systems. There are other systems out there, just as SWIFT is the most dominant.
Yeah, I guess I asked that because...
so and so you understand, the SWIFT is actually a system.
Yeah.
All right, so it's not necessarily a system that holds your dollar. SWIFT, I'm just saying this for the other people out there who don't understand. The SWIFT system is not really a banking system. It is a messaging system so that you know where your money is at every point during its transfer. All right, and so that's really what the SWIFT system is, to get your money to move from Europe. It may go through New York, an intermediary bank, and then come to the Bahamas. SWIFT knows where it is, because before SWIFT, sometimes your money just go missing and you don't know where it is between all of the different transactions. So all SWIFT is a messaging system to make sure that you get the messages goes so you know where your money is moved throughout this period.
Yeah, but they can stop the message anytime they want.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I just thought I should mention it because I really don't hear no one talking about it.
Yeah. And so we're going to talk more about that. I don't have a lot of people calling and asking about international issues. I'm very well versed in this stuff. And so if persons want to call, ask me about this stuff, I not only study this or Google this, I lived this. In order to do business internationally, when I was in the medical supply manufacturing business, I have to understand how the price of oil is manufacturing, because they use oil to make plastic. All right. And so if the price of oil goes up, the price of your medical supply is going to go up. The price of your rubber and other stuff is going to go up. And you have to understand that and moving money around to be able to do what you need to do. And so it's been my life.
Bitcoin. Yes, everybody be using Bitcoin.
Short order, I think based on persons who do business with, and that Trump is doing business with, if Trump gets in, he is going to push for Bitcoin. And so that's to make sure that these central bank digital currencies don't keep the public hostage. The system wants systems like sand dollar. They want you to get sand dollar, etc., so that they can control your money and they can determine when you spend, what you spend, and if you have money. And so that's dangerous with corrupt governments. And so,
yeah, that's what I was kind of worried about.
Right. And so Bitcoin avoids that because no one controls Bitcoin.
Okay. I mean, isn't the Bahamas Bahamas people at a disadvantage right now with that Bitcoin?
Yeah, Bahamians aren't allowed to freely access it, but that's going to change. When we get into power, we're going to have a Bitcoin economy. The world is going to look to us as it relates to Bitcoin. That's all I want to say on that. But if they vote for the COI, we're going to have a Bitcoin economy, even more massive than what the experiment that El Salvador has been doing, which has worked very well for them. But I'm in talks with a lot of power players in this and preparing the new Bahamas. That's not going to be dependent on anyone else.
Gotcha. Is it too late to mine Bitcoin?
No, I mine Bitcoin. And also, we're trying to set up something now where Bahamians can actually mine Bitcoin. But what you do is you get a host company in another country that has cheap electricity, right?
Gotcha.
That a host company, they would have cheap electricity. And so they would charge you for the electricity. So they pay 4 cents per kilowatt hour, while we're paying probably almost 40 cents when you add the fuel surcharge and everything else. So they're paying about 4 cents. And so that's only explaining. And so you have them have your computers and you're making free money. It's almost like you're printing money. But I mine at this time. I've been mining.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. All right. All right. It was very good call. I appreciate that. Again, that's what these Sunday shows are for. It's not just about the topic that I'm bringing up. I want you to know a lot of Bahamians don't know me and the full gamut of what I do. It would take so much for me to talk about everything that I've experienced in. I have more experience, life experience, than most of our prime ministers have had when they became prime minister. Penland had no life experience. He was just someone who went to law school. And he didn't really practice law. He didn't really go in practicing law. He went straight into politics. He'd never run a business or done anything in real life. And so he didn't have a lot of experience, but he managed to do what he had to do. Ingram was the same way. Never run a business, never fail at business, which most people will do. And so the same bureaucracy, et cetera, et cetera. Let me take this call. Good evening, you're live.
Good evening, Lincoln Bay.
Yes.
How are you doing today?
I'm awesome.
As you were talking about the sport, my mind went on the young people.
Yes.
What are the plans for the COI, for the young people and sports for this country?
Yeah. And so it's going to be difficult for me in a short 5 or 10 minute session to let you know the plans for young people. Before last election, we did a live and told you a lot of the things we wanted to do. And so it's a whole gambit. Moving forward, every ministry is going to have a section for young people. All right. So one, the Ministry of Youth is going to be moved with the Ministry of Education because that just makes sense. So they're going to work together, but there's going to be a Department of Youth in every single ministry so that every ministry has a focus on how we can empower our youth. One of the first things that we put out there is that based on our natural resources and what we make from them, every child that is born in the Bahamas, we are going to take a small amount of money, $10,000 or $20,000, and we're going to put that in an endowment for that child, so that when that child reaches the age of majority, that child has a jump start if they fulfill certain requirements. So it's going to be an encouragement to make sure that they have hope. One of the things our children don't have right now is hope. All right. And so a lot of children are born, their children, the parents were poor, they suffered, and it's probably going to be the same for them. But we're going to give our young people a jump. We're going to require them for that jump start to educate themselves, because we want an educated populace. There are certain things you're going to have to learn in school. Business, finance, trading is some of them. We're going to change the educational system on the whole to focus on each of our children, so you could learn based on your way of learning. And there are different ways that everybody learns. And so we've been grading the fish on its ability to climb a tree, and that's a problem in the fish job. And so some people learn dexterous, they learn with their hands. Some people are more academic, so that's what they are, but they may be clumsy outside of that. And so we're going to target how everyone learns. And so we have a system called a stream system that is going to be used to teach persons. So we're going to identify from a very young age how you learn, and we're going to teach you based on your learning. There's other countries, including in Europe and in Cuba, where if they see that that child is athletically inclined, we're going to have athletic schools. They have some schools that are fight schools where you go and you learn boxing. Because that's your gift, and then you learn math and English on the side as a part of your education, because they want to encourage that. So we're going to have track and field academies. I think I started to hear them with Alfred, the lady, her name is Alfred from St. Lucia one. I think I heard them saying of what college she goes to in the United States. All of our athletes are really trained in the United States, and that's a shame. Jamaica's athletes are trained in Jamaica. We're going to change that. Young, from in primary school, we're going to identify the gifted, and initially, if we have to bring coaches from overseas, we're going to spend whatever money it takes. We're going to get the return on investment later, remember, because when these athletes are all over the world and your name is on that jersey, that's promotion that you get back. And so we're going to train them and focus on them. And their schools for the gifted would be focused on them and the way they learn. All right. Schools even in the U.S., they target, like, I have a daughter who's in the U.S. and she somehow was good at math, and they moved into a special program. Just like that. She just came and aced her exams. And they said, no, you can't be in the regular class. We're moving you into a special class. And she doesn't want to, because she's like, oh man, we're not going to have all this other math. But it's just that she has a very high IQ. And so they feel like, no, we can benefit society more if we take this child along with the other children like her, and focus is going to benefit the American society more. And that's what we're going to do. With education, we're going to benefit our country by building a country where your gifts are honed and they're developed. And so that's what we're going to do. In terms of the Olympics, I am embarrassed right now. But certain sports, you're not going to beat us in. You're not going to beat us in rowing. Why aren't we rowing inside Lake Killarney? Why is it just sitting there? We should be dominant in rowing, in sailing, any sport to do with water, whether it's diving or swimming, etc. We are a water nation. And so we should not be beat with that. And so we're going to dominate in those areas. We're going to dominate in basketball and baseball, because we have examples where persons, Bahamians, have done well in those areas. Well, is our national sport. Not literally, but every Bahamian young man, that's what we do. All right. And we'll argue basketball all day, every day. And every park has a basketball court, and that's why we're good in basketball. So if you could encourage that by having the parks with basketball, then we need to start encouraging other things so that we spread our name and our talents out there. And so there's a lot that we want to do for young people, but it's hard for me to summarize it in just a couple of minutes. But we are going to release, when it's time. How government works is that when the election is coming up, everyone presents their plan to the people, and the people are supposed to vote for that plan. That's called a mandate. All right. The FNM might call it a manifesto, the PLP call it the blueprint for change, but it's a mandate. And so we are going to present when it's time our mandate. We're working hard on that right now. Vision 2030 is what we're putting out there, and we're working hard on that right now. We've been having meetings with persons in the different areas so that we put up the plans for every area of this country. And you're going to see that we are ready for nation building, and we're ready to build this nation. But the young people are the focus, because if we let all of our young people leave this country to go to another country, we're going to have a problem. We not only need to develop them and their skills, we need to have a country where they could come and utilize their skills. And so in the building of the new Bahamas, our Bahamians from around the world, we're going to reach out to all of them. Come home, help us build this facility, help us build that, help us build this for our people. And so we have a plan that once you see it, you're going to say, this makes sense. Our children, even brave David Sheeran, could come home. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well said.
All right. God bless you. And that's just a little snippet to do with young people. We're going to invest heavily in young persons programs. And when I say heavily, I mean heavily in programs for young persons and any organizations that want to do that. Let me go back to the phone lines. Good evening, you're live. Good evening, you're live.
Good day. You decide. What's going on, brother?
Awesome. If you're trying to call in, 803-5995 is the number for WhatsApp or regular line. Go ahead, my brother.
Yes. Well, my leader, what's going on, man? You know something? I sitting right here and I finally find something to disagree to it.
Right. Hold the line, caller.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I find, you know what
Yes.
I disagree with you on?
Yes.
That Olympics here. Understand? Like when you say, with $800 here, and the athletes that we should have gone and participate in that. But listen to me.
Yes.
After we see them people mock Christ with the Last Supper,
Yeah.
we as a godly nation and a Christian nation, we're supposed to pull our athletes out of that and show the Olympics and praise them, but you don't mock our God. You don't have no bunch of cross dresses and all type of people up here mocking the Last Supper. We as a godly nation.
Yes.
And brave them in, pull the Bahamas out that. No, bro, you can't mock our Father and come with that on as a Christian nation.
Yeah, that's problematic.
If you was Prime Minister right now and didn't condemn that, I would have been I'd have come on and condemn you for that, because you can't do that, man.
Yeah, I can guarantee you.
Companies pull out. Other companies pull out of that.
Yeah.
Right, from sponsoring them and everything, and all them nations, they reenacting the pale horse and the Antichrist and nations following them with all these flags with the Bible tell you about it. We ain't pull out that.
Yeah, I can guarantee you, were I the Prime Minister, I would have recalled our entire team and made a statement to the world on that. I don't mess around when it comes to those kinds of things. Now, what they did was they tried to justify and say that, oh, it wasn't the Lord's Supper. They call it the Feast of the Gods. The Feast of the Gods is different. That's a totally different thing. That was the Lord's Supper. They even had the halo behind one of them, who was supposed to be the representing Jesus in that. And they had 13 persons there. That was not the Feast of the Gods. That was the Lord's Supper that they were doing. And they should not disrespect Christianity in that way. They would not have done that to the Muslims. I can guarantee you that, because that would have been an international incident. And so I think it was disgraceful. And we need, the world is going crazy. We have men athletes competing against women athletes. Men who are going in women's bathroom, you put on a wig and say you're a woman. You just feel like you identify as a woman, and you can go in women's bathroom with my daughter. Let me tell you something. That's a big mistake. All right. So if anyone thinking about that, don't do that. All right. And so it's crazy. If I were to go around saying that I'm a white man, y'all would say I'm crazy. They would put me in an insane asylum. if I was to go around saying I'm a Chinese man, you say, boy, Lincoln head gone. But if I go around saying that I'm a woman, that's okay. If I go around saying that I'm identify as a woman, that's cool. He's good. You have to put everything in place. He can identify as a woman. That sounds like an attack on humanity and on the family. And so we have to take a stance as a people as it relates to things like this.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
But that goes to show you the type of people we have in our parliament. And that show you all the Christians and all the church in this country, nobody stand up and
man, listen. From you have Fred Mitchell as the chairman of your party, you know the direction your party wants to go in. As you have Fred Mitchell as your foreign affairs minister, even though in previous times he was promoting the agenda, Dr. Miles Monroe spoke out against him, telling him, keep your agenda to yourself. You see, you don't mind if you gave. Who you want to sleep with, that's your business. But don't push that on the rest of the people and don't represent that that's what the Bahamas is about. And that's what Fred Mitchell's agenda has been. And so, as you saw at a meeting they had at COB, one of the gay leaders said, you know, the PLP is the queerest party in history. All right. And so Brave didn't deny it. He nodded his head. So, thanks for your call. Change his hair, man. Change his hair. We go to the next caller. Good evening, you're live. Good evening, you're live.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Good evening, Mr. President.
How you doing?
Yes, good evening, Mr. President. It's nice to watch you. I mean, you don't even take a break.
I can't.
You don't
Good
take
evening,
a break.
caller.
Like that, I'm Donald Trump. Trump don't take a break. Short in the air up and moving and fighting. And the thing is with Trump, he's fighting for the United States. He's a American first.
Yeah.
And how could people go against that? How could people go against a man who wanted to defend his nation and provide for his nation and his people?
Yeah.
And people will call him all the names. Oh, Trump's a racist. Trump is a racist. But the thing is, Trump is a Democrat. He was a registered Democrat all of his life.
Yeah.
And he was the third largest donor who supported Barack Obama bid against Hillary Clinton. And after he wanted to run on the Democratic ticket in the debate, they said, no, we have to set a stage for Hillary. So he went to the Republicans. They said, okay, you that you're a Democrat, you want to run with us, we can see you, we put you center stage. And he brought them down.
Yeah.
But the thing is, what I'm getting at is men are standing up for their people, for their nation. And you don't have to. You don't have to be here.
Yeah.
You can be anywhere in the world. You're a well-educated man, decent, God-fearing man. Don't drink, don't smoke, just like Trump. Love your people. You know?
Yeah.
And what was so, I just want to say publicly that thanks for allowing me on that trip. My name is Darren Lewis Stubbs. All of you all out there, you all know me on Facebook, Darren Stubbs. And I had the opportunity to travel with Zane and Dr. Veronica McGyver and the chairman Charlotte Green and the Treasury Brigadier and Bernie and just to see Lutra and the state to the point where our Bahamian people are treated and being abused and misused, and that these old leaders think that we should continue living like how they lived back in the 60s and 70s. It's a shame and disgrace.
Yeah.
But you as a young man and as a young leader fighting for your people, and you know, I hear you say out of your own mouth that it is time that persons born after 1973, these are Ghanaians, it's time for the young lions and young lioness to eat.
Yes.
It's time for them to eat. And these people in the Bahamas, they are not on no PLP and FNM run. I can assure you, they are not on the PLP and FNM run.
Yeah.
They want, this is a new generation. It's time to build a new Bahamas.
Thanks.
And Mr. Bain, you have it. You have it.
Thank you, man.
And I ask that God bless you and keep you. And we the Bahamian people will continue to pray for you and support you and the Bahamian people who's fighting for change.
Thank you. God bless you, man.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Go ahead, call you live. Go ahead, call you live.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah, listen, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
In example that you become or your coalition becoming hello, good night.
Go ahead.
Yeah, what I want to know, if you and your party come into power, how can we assure that you hold people who are accountable for who was in the past doing things that they should not be doing, so that we can gain back some sort of stability in that country?
You know what a man is going to do by what he has done. For the last 20 years, I've been holding the governments accountable fearlessly, fighting for the Bahamian people and fighting for issues that really matter to us. That's very difficult to do in our system. If you have a business, they'll destroy you. If you have a job, they may fire you. If you have a loan, it'll get called in. But I have done that for the last 20 years when I didn't have to. And so if I'm the person who is out there, along with our whole team, putting information out there to expose what they don't want exposed, because they don't have the Freedom of Information Act. We have been the Freedom of Information Act. You know that when we get in there, we're going to hold their foot to the fire. Let me tell you something. We are invested in this. I ain't getting out there getting locked up, dragged, held in a cell for days, and have court cases over my head because I go in there to joke around. We are going in there to make sure that the corruption in this country ends. And let me tell you something. There'll be no mercy for the merciless. I can assure you in this country, you don't have to pay off nobody for nothing no more.
Well, I mean, that's well said and done. I mean, but at the same time, you know, a lot of people looking for change. A lot of people promise change. A lot of people hold people accountable, and the minute they get in power, then everybody tends to go in a way to kind of sugarcoat certain things because they don't want to ruffle feathers.
That's a good question. You know, and a lot of people.
I believe.
Go ahead.
1 second. I believe people in the Bahamas want some feathers to be ruffled, so people could be held accountable, so the example will be set, so that people will not take this time again to try to put us back in a position that we don't want to be in.
Yes. Let me tell you something. They'll say, okay, the people will come, and before they get in, they'll say this and that. And when they get in, there's a different story. That's because we haven't changed since we changed for 51 years. All right. The PLP and FNM is one party. And so they discourage you by making you feel like, oh, see, we campaign against this one. Okay, the FNM will say, oh, you can't bring VAT. VAT is bad. That can hurt the people, that kill the poor people. You can't do it. It's wrong. When we get in, we can stop VAT. Then when they get in, they increase VAT. All right? That's because the FNM and PLP have been working together to screw us. You haven't been getting no next party. And they fool us to make us think we was voting different. We wasn't voting different every time. We was voting for the same best friends. You vote for Perry, Kristen, Ingram, and Co. They're the same people who own the companies that have value in this country. Arwak Homes is FNM and PLP. Focal, FNM and PLP. All of these companies are FNM and PLPs who are running them. They put someone to be their face to represent their interests. We have not voted different, and that is what the problem has been. This will be the first time that we really have a serious, strong opportunity to vote differently.
I have one more question before I let you go to other people.
Go ahead.
In a case that you have an opportunity, get an opportunity to help the country to better, how would you go about dealing with a situation that we are standing in now with a police force and other entities that are in charge of our customs, defense, and everything? How would you go about making adjustment to ensure the people that maybe they will be more comfortable or more secure with the people that are selected to be there?
So that's a very good question. I want you to know first and foremost that a lot the vast majority of the people in those institutions are not corrupt, and they don't like what they are seeing. All right. There are a lot of police officers who don't like. I get a lot of information from police officers. So does Maria Daxon, who is also a former police officer. Remember the immigration situation? I was getting information from immigration officers to expose what the government was doing, because they saw that what the government was doing, selling out all these citizenships and all these stuff that would destroy our country. So they wanted that to stop. And so they stood up and fought the government against that. All right. The problem is the politicians put pressure. They will go in put a corrupt commissioner there. You heard Paul Roll, the last commissioner, say that minutes made him do things he didn't want to do. All right. You see where this commissioner, it seems to be the same situation. We are eventually gonna, once we go Republic, you're gonna be voting for the commissioner of police, so it won't be a puppet of the prime minister anymore. But at the same time, until that happens, I assure you that I know who all the good and bad police officers are. All right. I know all the senior police officers personally. All right. There will be no more corruption in the police force. We will wipe out the corrupt police officers from the police force. And I said, wipe out. All right. And there will not be a corrupt political leadership to be there to corrupt the people. You understand? To corrupt the leaders, to do their bidding. So all of this is going to change. We know who is who. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller. Don't listen to your whatever you're listening on, your TV or whatever. Listen to me in the phone.
Well, I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
I wish that you I wish that you be able to get the opportunity to try and make a change. I think that you will get good support because people want something different.
Yeah.
But remember, we are all looking forward to the same thing. Someone to stand up and continue to do what they said that they're going to do.
Amen.
So, and that said, I will let you continue on the show. I appreciate your views. I think a lot of people do.
Thank you.
We want better.
Yeah.
But, like I say, we now, everyone now holding people accountable for what they are saying. I don't think we want anything different from better. So, with that said, thank you so much for your time tonight, sir.
Thank you too.
Enjoying the show. Let someone else have a chance.
All right. And so the thing, the fact of the matter is, what's going to happen if the PLP or FNM gets in there. Someone say, "Oh, what if they go in there and do the same thing?" Well, that's a risk. There's no risk or chance of what's going to happen if the PLP or FNM gets in there. They're going to fail. It's going to be more corruption because they tell you that they're corrupt, and so you should listen to them. The PLP says the FNM corrupt. The FNM says the PLP corrupt. Listen to them. You know what's going to happen if they get in there, either of them. You have to try something different this time. Someone brought up Trump and fighting for his people and stuff like that. I think it's interesting what I'm seeing going on in America right now. Call, I'll get you right now. What I see going on in America right now is, some people started celebrating, said we could probably have a black female president, and then a lot of information started coming out that Ms. Harris is not an African American. She's not an African American, that she is of Indian descent. They would say that she is Jamaican because her father was Jamaican, but he was white and Indian Jamaican. All right. Just like in the Bahamas, we have white people, Chinese people, etc. And Jamaica is the same thing. And so now they're saying that she is not African American, and which, based on everything that you can see, she is not African American. And so the question is, does it matter? It doesn't matter the race of anybody. But if you are pushing yourself as African American and you are not, that's deceitful. All right, that's actually wrong. And so she was always known as an Indian prosecutor, Indian this, Indian that. She did go to Howard, which is a historically black university, but I went to an historically black university, and there were white people and Indians and Chinese there. So that doesn't mean nothing. When she's a part of AKAs, which is a black sorority, which is good, but that doesn't make you black. All right. And so someone says she is black. And so they are Indian, and they're from the southern part of India. India has several kind of shades of people. The persons from the south are dark skinned, so they look like Africans, like us, but they're not black. Sorry, they're not African. All right. And so in the north is the lighter skin, and they are very racist against the ones from the darkest skin sections. That's how it's been historically. Hopefully it's getting better. And so she is from her forefathers are from where the darker skin ones come from. And so you can call her black if you want to, but this Indians are more brown. And so she is Indian and Jamaican. Yes, she is Indian, Indian and Jamaican, but none of them are racist. All right. And so Jamaica has white people. Someone says originally Asian people was black. Jamaicans have white people. They are white Bahamians. All right. They are white Jamaicans. All right. Even in Haiti, there are white Haitians. All right. So saying that you are Jamaican doesn't mean that you're black. And so I saw Judge Joe Brown. Go on YouTube and hear what Judge Joe Brown had to say about it. He was a judge in California. She was a prosecutor. Go hear what she had to say. I'm not playing that stuff because I ain't even getting in that. I am my business. But I just thought it's interesting that they're now coming up with this conversation. To me, it doesn't matter what her race is, but I don't think you should be out there saying that you're black or you're African American if you're not. All right. So we'll see what happens with that. But I just thought that's interesting conversation that's going on right now. So go on YouTube and look it up and see. You'll kind of get a lot of stuff. Judge Joe Brown even went down to the birth certificate of our parents, et cetera, et cetera. But again, that's my business. I hear fighting for Bahamians. Caller, you live. Go ahead.
Hey, good day. How y'all doing? Hey, I just wanted to talk about the water.
Hold on. Before you go there, I just wanted to say, some people are asking why, she's strongly pushing this African American thing now. It's because Trump was doing better than ever in the polls with African Americans. It was shocking, and that was a lot of strength was coming from there. You even notice if you're watching Fox News recently, they have a lot of African American news anchors and stuff like that. It's almost like conservatives were going after the black vote, and so Trump was getting very strong in that area. But now putting her there and pushing that, okay, I'm African American, and getting the rappers and whoever to come on board with her, they feel that that's going to take some of Trump's support. But it looks like in America is backfiring because it seems like a lot of blacks coming out and saying this woman, she's Indian. And so again, I just want to show this is political strategy. All right. You want the black vote? Say that, let Clinton go and play a saxophone and say, oh, he's the first black president, even though he's white, and because blacks like saxophone and jazz. And so that's politics. That's what they do. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah. I just want to talk quickly about the incident, the water situation. I talked to a doctor, a friend of mine, and I don't know if I said the word right, but the pH imbalance is at all high with women actually coming from the island. So that causing private doctors and different things to make a lot of money, and that's a big problem. Mostly women keep this privately, and they know what I'm talking about. The wife, she had the same problem because where we was at, the neighbor had a well, and when we look in the back, frogs was in the water and different things, and we couldn't figure out what the problem truly was until we told them what was going on with the water. And just like I talked to my doctor friend, she said yes, that could cause their pH imbalance to be really for them to be itchy and different things. I don't want to go too much into that detail. So that is a severe fix because it's affecting women. It might not affect men as much, but women, that is a no-no. Now, I want to tell every Bahamian that is listening to this. I just talked to my daughter in Canada while this life was going on, and I had to find a way to convince my daughter to vote, but to vote for change, to vote for the COI. And I had to go down and explain it to her, and I was like, you know what? I told her straight up, I've never voted before in my life. And I had to tell her why, because I didn't see no clarification that there would be change for a brighter Bahamas. But I see it now. Because she was like, Daddy, I come back home and, I go into tourism. She's studying. But I said, what, you just expect for them to just give you a regular job? And if that's even if you get hired, there's a lot of people who have this job opportunities. They don't even have a degree. It's just about experience and who they know, to be honest with you. But if you have the applications are coming back home, you need a government that's going to say, we can give you what you deserve. We want you to come back home. We want you to own a piece of the pie. And the convincing that I had to do, I realized that we have a lot to do. Like a lot of y'all parents who listen to this, who have children in Canada or anywhere in the States, we have 2 years. We have to talk to them and convince them to come home and vote. We have to let them know why. And as she said, but they be back and forth, ping pong, and everybody make the same promises. I said, you realize it's the same government for 2 years. That's what we've been choosing. I said, now that there's a change. I said, I know this isn't going to be easy to convince you, but I need you to now listen to the live. I need to let you go to the website and teach you the knowledge of what we deserve.
Yeah.
All this sign and bragging night and different things going, y'all don't know about this, but it's our fault. Now that somebody's teaching us and we're grown up, it's our job to teach you. So I don't let every parent that is listening to this live and who you know, you have to tell these young children who are 18, who are off to school, doing doctor and whatever else, we have to get the young people to vote.
Yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
All right, take care.
All right. Yeah. So, he is right. A lot of people feel it's been a back and forth. It's never been a back and forth. There's always been the PLP, which is the same party. Go ahead, call your life. Call your life. Go ahead, call your life. Okay, missed that one. Okay, let's get this other one. Go ahead, call your life. How you doing, man?
Hello, nigga. What I wanna find out is. Hello.
Yeah, you're live. Don't listen to your device, your TV or whatever. Don't listen to the phone that you're talking on. There's a delay.
Okay.
Go ahead, caller.
Okay. This government has been going against the wishes of the citizenry for quite a while. Hello, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. I'm saying this government has been going against the wishes of the citizenry for so long. They are continually doing what they want against our wishes. What I want to know is, since they are changing all of these laws to suit their whims and fancy and doing every day, they continue to do more and more against what we want. Does the COI have somebody that's taking a note of all of this so that they can be wise what these guys doing when they get in the party?
Yes, we have files upon files to deal with the corruption that's going on. I've shown files with BC. We have files on waterworks. We have files for all of these different areas. We are working with persons in different ministries And we are ready from day one to deal with the corruption that's been going on, to fix it and to clean it up. And so we are ready. We have not, people think that, every we put stuff out there, we have not even put out 1% of 1% of the information that we have.
So what regards to the exploitation of our natural resources, how they are giving things away for free by tying us up into international agreements with other people. What is the price for that? Can we waste all of this and get our resources back? But they have soul and all of our beaches and land and everything.
Good.
And how do we counteract that?
Good question. In terms of our natural resources, there's nothing to get back. We don't want to stop them. We want them to keep mining. So if you've been digging for all these years, keep digging. It's just that we're now going to get royalties from it. The problem isn't that these miners don't want to pay. They want to pay their fair share. They want to. And in fact, the documents that I released in our documentaries, etc., they came from the miners themselves saying that the Bahamian people are being ripped off, and they wanted me to release that. And so they want to pay their fair share. It's just that the government doesn't collect for the people. The government is only concerned with the under-the-table money that they get for themselves. So even like the Aragonite deal, it's supposed to be $2 a metric ton. The government doesn't even collect that. All right. They just care about their under-the-table deal. Limestone, we get nothing for that. The salt, all we get is, and I've shown the documentation in our documentaries, we get $500 for a 50,000 ton ship of salt worth $300 million. All right, we get $500. All right. There's no contract agreement on what Morton Salt should be paid. In fact, if I was Prime Minister, we would have bought out Morton Salt during the lockdowns. The company that owned it was selling it, and so for a few hundred millions, we could have bought Morton Salt and controlled the worldwide production of salt, not just Morton Salt in Niagara, the whole world. And so, but we don't have vision, and so we're going to change that. And so we are ready. We have everything in place. Those contracts that have been given out, they're not exclusive. And so we need Bahamians to understand this. There's no exclusive contract for any of our natural resources. So anyone doing it can continue to do it. Now they can just pay us royalties for doing so. And we're also going to go into some of these areas and be mining also with companies that are owned by the Bahamian people but managed privately. All right. And so we don't have anything back from them in terms of our mining. Any deal that is an erroneous deal that was made by our governments will be dealt with. All right. Any contract was an odious agreement. It will not be honored in the new Bahamas. We're going to have a new country. All right. And that has some legal implications. All right. But I'm not going to go into details on that. We have a new country, and we're not going to any odious agreements that was signed where we can find any corruption, skullduggery, fraud, etc. Those contracts are going to be out.
One question before I go. This situation with the numbers, man, where only certain individuals gaining from the numbers racket in the Bahamas. And there should be a national lottery of some sort so that the nation profits instead of just a few people enriching their pockets. What is your intent with that?
I agree. That's all I'll say for now.
Okay. Thank you, Nicholas.
All right. Thank you, too.
Okay, bye.
All right. And so there are Bahamians who have signed contracts right now. Aragonite, well, mostly sand, Aragonite, etc. But we need to change the game. All right. And so we went well over time today. I started to show you that document. Yes, we will have a national lottery. So just so people, if you're concerned on with the science, that we will have a national lottery. All right. So don't forget about that. And Bahamians will be allowed to own and gamble in casinos. I think it's a crime against humanity that we are treated like back in the 50s, 60s, where we see Bahamians not allowed to do something in our country that anyone else can do. And the only crime is that you're a Bahamian doing it. That is so ridiculous that we continue to allow that. It's not that the thing is wrong, you know. It only becomes wrong if you're a Bahamian doing it, but anyone else can do it. In no other country will this be accepted and allowed. That is crazy. All right? That's crazy. And this is why we fight. So we're going to go into government and change that immediately. From the day after election, a memo is going to be sent, a letter is going to be sent to the casinos telling them that practice is now over with. All right, it's going to be sent straight to the gaming board. You cannot discriminate against Bahamians anymore. So if Bahamian wants to sit in the casino and gamble, they can sit in the casino and gamble. That's their money. But Bahamians can actually own casinos. That's the game changer. All right, and so pay attention. There was so much more to talk about. There's so much more to talk about. But we have to stop right there. I started to show you the information on that book. I think I should let you just hear his words and then we'll end there. I think 5 more minutes. I mean, if we did 2.5 hours, I just want you to hear the now dead gentleman's words that he put in that book. I see he was looking for someone to help him publish it, and he ended up dead. But this is his book. The ugly politics that is being played with beneath the surface with the native lives are killing us quietly. A government that is full with thugs that use their ministries as cash cows without governance. A small nation with its population less than 400,000 and its dollar value equal to US dollar, we are still in poverty with only 5% that could afford health care. A police force that is corrupt to its pinnacle, and the prime minister without vision to lead this small, beautiful nation beyond its capital. My people are, wow, beyond its capital. That means everything focused on Nassau. My people are running to the church, knocking at its doors for a sanctuary, and one would think a man of God would have such a grave responsibility, but they are predators themselves that is raping and suffocating what is left of my people as the red richer. With your expertise, the world will know of its evil until it's rid of, because the Bahamian people deserve better. And that's signed by him, T. Ron Fowler. And so he was writing, trying to get someone to yeah, and so he called the names right away in his book. So I don't want to scroll anymore. I hope this book has challenged your views on politics, prison, churches, and the unforgiving society in which we live. All right, and so this is serious. So I'll leave that. All right, but that's the book, and this is serious. This is just I guess it's chapter 1, and the book has many chapters. All right, and so in some of these chapters, he's really talking about politicians that you know and what he did for them. All right, say get it published for his family bloodline. I personally, everyone knows me. There's some accusations he is making against persons, even persons who are still in the House of Assembly right now. And if I don't have the evidence, if you was given a cocaine, that's your word. If I don't have proof of that, I can't publish that. All right. So just so you understand, I won't be the person publishing that. Whenever you hear Lincoln being taught, I got the proof on whatever is being said. So I would love to, and maybe someone else should, but it can't be me to do that, because people have come to trust me that whenever you hear my word, that's ironclad. Right? So, all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, we've heard no results. Nothing has happened as it relates to those voice recordings. There's nothing to be patient about. If that was someone else, not connected to the government, they would have had them lock up. For more complicated things, persons have been arrested quicker than that. But they are stalling and hoping that we stop talking about this. Let's keep talking about this. Let's make sure that the Bahamian people know exactly what's going on. Young men are not dying by coincidence. This is a systematic thing. They are being silenced. All right? They are being silenced. And so, again, I'm going to see you again next Sunday at 5 o'clock when we'll present more to you. And also, we want you to call in with your questions. Someone called in with a great question about international concerns with BRICS and et cetera, et cetera. Someone else, people are calling in with intelligent questions. They call about our vision for the youth, et cetera. And so we're not afraid to answer these questions. We're looking forward to putting our candidate forward to you. I heard someone say, hey, y'all don't have candidates. It's only you and a couple of people. No. We have ratified we've ratified already enough candidates to win the government. And so some of our candidates are campaigning on the streets now, but we are going to start releasing our candidates. All right. And so we've already ratified some of them. Some of them we're still vetting. Someone says, put your candidates out there. We're going to put the candidates out there when it's time. All right. But we're going to vet and make sure that we have the right people out there. The interests in some constituencies, we have 5-6 people trying to run in one constituency. That makes it difficult, and some feelings get hurt because at the end of the day, you still got to choose. I know in North Abaco alone, we got about 6 people who applied to run for North Abaco. So we have several constituencies where that is the case, and so we got to vet and make sure we put the right person forward. And have the best person forward. So this narrative that the North Canada is, well, we'll see. That's what I got to say. We will see. But if you're interested in running and representing the Bahamas, the doors are still open. You're welcome to come and join us and be a part of this change, right, if you want to see it. And so we're looking forward to that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for tuning in. Love you. God bless you with your 2.5 hours today. It's late. I'm going to try and go and get some ice cream, my one vice. But I want you to know that we're doing this for you. We're doing this for the Bahamian people. We are doing this because if we don't win this election, it is over. Do not give up on your country. Some people say, Lincoln, don't give up. I don't want you to give up. And don't let your friends and family give up. They feel so distraught that no matter how you vote, they still do the same thing. You've been voting for the same people. That's the trick. And they know that less and less Bahamians are voting now, so they're bringing in a new voting to replace you because they know you're catching on to them. And what they're hoping is that you don't vote because they know you've caught on to them. So they're hoping you say, man, I ain't voting. And then they let the new people who will be beholden to them because I gave you citizenship. So these new people don't know about all of the skullduggery that they've been doing. They haven't felt the bad treatment from them for all these years. They don't feel like disappointed by them. So the new people are just going to come in and vote and support them. And so that's what they want. We need change, y'all. We need change. All right? That's what's happening. Mr. Man, you sweet mouth bad. Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs. I got one vice. That's ice cream. So God bless you. And someone says there's war. Listen, I am willing to fight this on any level necessary. I'm not willing to give up my one good country. I'm not willing to give it up. So Bahamians, we got to stand up and fight. Or we have to stand up and fight. Bless you. I love you.